everybody, welcome back to not a new deck tech. The new deck tech of Rivals of Ixalan unfortunately cannot be released today because I was not able to rent every single card I needed to on MTGO, so it'll kind of release whenever I can do that. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about the banned cards. Yes, they banned some cards today in Standard, and let's go over them. We're going to go over the energy ones first, because there's actually two different types of decks that got hit today. So the first one, of course, is energy, the one everyone called for, and I'm really glad they did this. Everyone basically was guessing they got rid of, or to get rid of Ether Hub and Tune with Ether, but instead they got rid of a Tune with Ether and Rogue Refiner. These two cards are banned from Standard. What does this mean for the energy deck? Well, it isn't necessarily bad. Rogue Refiner is a big part of it, but it could find a replacement. Obviously, there's no good replacement for Rogue Refiner, but it still has its big hitting pieces behind it in Long Tusk Cub and Bristling Hydra. But the problem arises is now this deck lost a lot of consistency. It lost a lot of its land drop. Attune with Ether, it was one of the most powerful cards in the energy deck, and maybe even the best card in that deck. And that getting a hit there is pretty bad in a 3-colored deck that really needs to be able to fix as soon as they can and get energy built up as soon as they can. A turn 1 Attune, turn 2 Long Tusk Cub is always just so strong. They still have other ways of consistently, they still play Servant of the Conduit and stuff like that, but losing a card that gets you land, gets you early energy, and then losing another card that basically replaces itself in your hand and gets you even more energy. And it's just 3 mana, 3/2 that draws you a card. Losing both of those pieces, I think, is a big, big hit to energy. They're the two biggest card that got them energy that they didn't need to work for. Like Bristling Hydra enters with 3. Long Tusk Cub has to deal damage to get energy. Some of these cards that really stabilized the deck not only helped them get lands and extra cards and extra energy, but it gave them a ton of consistency. And taking that away from energy, I think, was the right call. I think the reason energy was doing so well is not because it played a whole bunch of overpowered cards. I think it's because the deck was extremely consistent, and when you take out a lot of that consistency, it's going to go well. So those were the bannings on energy. I want to know your guys' thoughts. I am very, very happy that this happened. I think a lot of people that are Standard players like it as well. I think it's going to bring people back to Standard because they don't have to keep playing energy to win. We'll see what comes up. You never know. Energy may still be a top deck, but I think it definitely lowered itself in the meta. So now we're going to go to the other deck that got hit. And so you're probably thinking the top 2 decks in Standard were Energy and Ramunap Red. Well, Ramunap Red also got a hit. Rampaging Ferocidon and the actual card Ramunap Ruins both got banned. And I'm not actually sure about Rampaging Ferocidon. I get it can be kind of a great sideboard card because a lot of people are sideboarding in life gain against Ramunap Red. But other than that, I didn't see that card was super problematic. A lot of things killed it. Basically everything. I mean, everything really did kill it. And I can see maybe in future sets it might be a problem. We saw that with Reflector Mage and how strong that card would have been last Standard, or in Amonkhet with Godpharaoh's Gifts and stuff like that. But maybe that's the reason Rampaging Ferocidon got hit, but you never know. I don't think it makes necessarily Ramunap Red weaker. I think the strongest card in Ramunap Red was Earthshaker Kenra and even on Crop Crasher. And of course, the actual card Ramunap Ruins, which we'll get to here in a few seconds. So Rampaging Ferocidon shouldn't have too much of an impact on the Ramunap Red meta. Now, the card Ramunap Ruins is banned. This is actually a huge, huge hit to Ramunap Ruins. It's a bigger hit than even taking away Earthshaker Kenra. The reason Ramunap Red did so well is because it had the extra reach most aggro decks don't have. Black-red aggro still has the recursion threat, but it still relies on top decks late in the game. But what Ramunap Red Ruins did was turn your lands into damage, and having that option taken away from you really makes the deck a lot worse. It really does. You have to restructure that entire deck. The entire deck's land base is built around that. People played more lands in their decks because of Rounding Up Ruins, and now they can't because it's banned. So I think this actually is a huge hit to Rounding Up Ruins. There's so many times I've been able to stabilize at like 2 or 3 life and just lose to a Rounding Up Ruins. And now that that deck doesn't have that option anymore, I don't know how viable it's going to be. So definitely a huge hit to the deck. And I want to know your guys' thoughts on these 4 bannings. I really think of them as 2 bannings, though. I want to know you guys' opinion on these bannings because it's going to be interesting to see what type of decks rise up in the meta and whether they stay the same or they get different. I'm going to assume that Blue-White Godfarrow's Gift becomes a decent deck again, becomes top or tier 1 again. I haven't actually been paying attention to the meta. I've been taking a little break from Magic the past like 2 weeks. So I'll have to like look into it, but I'm pretty sure Blue-White Godfarrow's Gift was like a tier 2, tier 3 deck, and now it can become a tier 1 deck. Now it's given a little bit more wiggle room. Blue-Black Control probably, or Blue-White Control. So yeah, those types of decks that were kind of tier 2 decks probably can move into the tier 1 slots now, which is fine by me. Everyone hates playing against Control, but it's something we have to all deal with. And yeah, so that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my first deck tech of Rival of Ixalan's. Will be Black, White Vampires, probably, and then I'm going to make you guys vote for the next one, but it'll probably be, to my guess, Simic, Merfolk, or Soul Type Merfolk. I still haven't made the deck yet. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.